Alrighty, let's get started. Hello, everyone. How are we doing? Hopefully well, I hope. So I just wanted to ask everyone if they were able to do the homework. Well, not necessarily homework, but some of the finish up the tasks that we were supposed to do last week. So if you guys don't remember, we read the short story, which was Abraham Lincoln's speech. Now, due to time, we were not able to finish some of the questions. So I just wanted to ask if everybody had a chance to do them or, check it out even. So I guess just send me a message in the chat if you were able to do the homework. If not, that's okay. I have new stuff for you guys anyway, so it's not a big deal. I just wanted to see if anyone would like to send some work that they would like me to edit. Okay. I got one response. Let's see. All right, so let's continue. I'm going to share my screen. So I have prepared some new stuff for you guys today. So nothing too extreme. So per usual, I always love to start with a quote. I think starting with a quote really does help, train the mind in understanding things in a more complex way. So do I have any volunteers of who would like to read the quote? Yep, Ryan.
With the new day comes new strength and new thoughts. Eleanor Roosevelt.
Perfect. Thank you, Ryan. So yeah, with the new day comes new strength and new thoughts. I think this is a very straightforward quote, nothing too complex, but I still would love to hear your thoughts about it. So Ryan, since you read first, what do you think? How do you perceive this quote here?
I think it means like you're going to learn new things every day.
For sure. Every day we gain something new, and whether that be any type of experience or anything knowledge that we come across, for sure that we gain something from it. What about you, Tina? Do you have any thoughts about this quote?
I think it's like you can each day you can start over and get another chance.
For sure. So in Tina's point of view, it doesn't have to be something new. It can just be something having a new start. That's also in itself a very important thing. So great job, Tina. Do you have anything else you'd like to add? No? All right. What about you, Boru? What do you think about this quote?
I think that the new day, the new strength and new thoughts comes when the day's over and you have a good sleep and you you'll refresh your strength and thoughts.
For sure. So taking care of yourself also is a part of the aspect of having something new, right? When you have a bad sleep and a bad health, or maybe you didn't sleep well, sometimes it can be opposite effect, right? Sometimes you gain a new strength, but then new doesn't have to be a good thing. It could also be a bad thing, right? If you have bad sleep, you get less strength, right? You feel tired, you don't feel good. And maybe new thoughts saying, oh, I'm tired, I don't feel like doing anything today. So just because in this quote it says new doesn't mean it's a positive thing. It could be also be a negative thing as well. So great thing to point out. Now, the vocabulary here is nothing too complex. I don't believe anyone has any doubts about any of the vocab, but of course I always like to double make sure that everybody understands every word here. But if not, let's move on to the next question. So what I want you guys to do is write a little paragraph, right, about today. What about today was your new strength and your new thoughts? So what you need to do is compare how it was today versus yesterday. So like, for example, today I had I had plans with a friend, right? So I went to go out during the day and meet up with my friend and had some lunch, go around, explore a little. So that sense of motivation and the new thoughts was way much better than yesterday, where yesterday I was, very low energy. I was very tired. And my thoughts was, I don't want to do anything. I just want to sleep in bed and just don't do anything. So when that new day came, which was today, I had a new strength, right? I felt stronger because I was meeting up with a friend and I slept well. And also I had better thoughts, right? I was more positive. I was like, I can't wait for today. Um, and I was much more productive in general. So what I want you guys to do is write about the time where how you felt today versus yesterday. And this is the perfect opportunity for you guys to be descriptive, right? Just because you're writing a short paragraph doesn't mean you shouldn't be descriptive. So write about the small details that like are different, were you more tired? Did you smell better? Did you breathe better? Did you, use your five senses? And that can help a lot. Does anyone have any questions about the paragraph that's going to be written today? No? All right, if there's no questions, what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you guys 7 minutes. All right, 7 minutes to complete. And then we'll go over it together. So starting now. Oh, and send me your paragraphs in the chat, just like usual.
Can you say the question again? My internet was laggy.
Yeah, of course, Ryan. So the question is, well, it's also down here as well, is write about today. And what was the new strength and thoughts that you had for today compared to yesterday? So the example that I gave Ryan was that today I was more motivated, I had more energy, and I had positive thoughts because I was meeting with a friend today. So I got out of my room, I went outside, I had some fresh air. Compared to yesterday I was a little bit more tired and I felt very unmotivated. I wanted to just kind of sleep in, do nothing, and not be productive. So when today came and I was having my plans with my friend, I had that new strength and better thoughts. So write about a time that you had that was something similar about today versus yesterday. All right. And since Ryan, since your internet was laggy, I'll do an extra 2 minutes. So 7 minutes starting now. 2 more minutes left. For those who have already finished, remember my technique of reading your paragraph out loud. It will help you figure out little mistakes that you weren't able to notice while typing. So try that right now. And if you still have 2 more minutes, so if you see a mistake, you can write it in the chat. But for those who haven't finished yet, you have 2 more minutes. Alrighty, so time is up. I'm going to stop sharing. For those who have not finished, that's okay. Please send what you have. If you weren't able to do it at all, if you were confused, just private message me in the chat. And then we'll figure it out. If not, there's always the next activity. Okay, so I'm going to open up a Word document per usual. I'm going to copy and paste the paragraphs that are available. And then alrighty. So what we're gonna do here is we're gonna take a look at the edits. So let's start with Ryan. So today I wasn't feeling good at soccer and I played with one of my friends. Okay, so friends is misspelled here. I also had a good feeling that I got A+ in the math test. Okay, so if you're talking about a new topic, the idea of also is not needed, right? No need to add also. So I had a feeling that I got an A+. I had a good feeling that I got an A+ in the math test. So here, grammatically, it's all right. However, the flow of it is a little bit awkward. So there's a more elevated way of how we can say this. So we can say that I felt great today because of the A+. I got in on my math test. So adding the word because really does help things flow. You said you felt great today. Why? Because of the A+ I got on my math test. But today I didn't get a good night's sleep because my dog wasn't sleeping in my room. So what we can say is that, but, and then we can say later that night, or later at night, I didn't get a good night's sleep because my dog wasn't sleeping in my room. Okay. Yesterday I was tired when I woke up, and so spelling here, spelling error. Got a B on science. So instead of on science, you can say on science, or on, you can say either say in science or on my science. Was it a test, Ryan, or was it a project? What did you get a B in? So we can say test here.
It was
It was a test, Ryan? Okay. All right, and then I believe that's all the edits I have for you right now. Tina, do you have any sorry, Ryan, do you have any questions about the edits that I've made today?
no.
Nope. All right. Tina, let's go through yours. So today I feel more energized than yesterday. We can add a because here. Because I slept well and woke up feeling much better than yesterday. And then we can put a period here. And then we could specify yesterday. I didn't get enough sleep. And then we can even go a little bit more further, because either there was a lot of noise, or it was too hot. So here you can add a little bit more details of why you were not able to sleep in or sleep good. So having those type of details in there elevates your response a bit better. I am also happy because, so no need for also. I am happy because, and then no need, oh yeah, unlike yesterday, today is a weekend. So I can finally do what I want to do. So you wouldn't put here. You would say today is the start of the weekend. Or you can just say today's the weekend. Or you can even say, unlike yesterday, today, or you say, because I'm happy because unlike yesterday, it is the weekend. But I think this is your best option, is saying I'm happy because unlike yesterday, today is the start of the weekend. And then you period here. And then you can take this out and say, I can finally do what I want to do, which is, and then you can add a little bit more details here of explaining why you did what you did. So, you know, even if you do finish early in your paragraphs, it's always good to read it over. Oh, it's always good to read it over, because if you see that you can add a little bit more, then I highly recommend you try to do so. Do you have any questions about the edits that I made, Tina? All right, no questions. All right, so the last piece of feedback I want to give both you and Ryan is that because you for both of you finished a little bit earlier, if you have extra time, try to add a little bit more details into your paragraphs. What you have is a great start. However, I'm looking for more writing and just in general, for more setting, more emotional background. Saying you're happy is great, but using words like ecstatic, you know uh relieved or whatnot, stuff like that. Being a little bit more playful with the vocabulary that you may know helps a lot, just to give some variability of how to keep the reader more engaged. But if there's no other questions, then I'm going to stop sharing. And then Boru, if for the next assignment, please try your best to complete it, and so I can give you some feedback, because although it's always great to see what your peers have done, so you can also learn from your peers, it's also great to get some feedback on your own writing as well. Okay, so try to complete what you finished the next task. All right. So let's do a little short story. It's called First Star I See Tonight. It's quite an interesting one. I think it's pretty fun. It's kind of dark, but also like a little comedic at times as well. So these are the two questions I want you to keep in mind. Do you like the story? And I want you to explain why. And don't just say I like the story because it's fun. I want you to actually pay attention to maybe the writing style, how the characters were described. Like, do you get enough details from the story? Or you can even say the things that you hate, saying the story doesn't give enough information. I want you guys to be critiques. This is your moment to be like, I am an editor. I am someone who's going to look at the story and see what is the good and what is bad. You can write both. You can write just what is good, or you can just write what is bad. But I want you to be keen in exactly what the story is giving to you as a reader. Is it giving enough? Is it getting too little? And that's for you to write about. And then the second question is, do you think Thomas's punishment was fair? And why? Okay, so we're going to find out what the punishment was. So I'm going to stop sharing and let's take a look at this story. Alrighty. So, Ryan, can you please read from Dr. Thomas all the way till Switzerland?
Dr. Thomas Strayer looked around the control room at his team of scientists and engineers. He was pretending to be calm, but he was both excited and terrified. The next few minutes would be the starting point of years more research towards understanding the secrets of how the universe began. He looked out the window at a beautiful blue summer sky and took a deep breath. Ready, as he pressed the first button, bringing to life the complicated computers and machines around him. Set, press the second button, switch on a huge particle accelerator that lay in a huge underground laboratory. Deep beneath the towns and fields of Switzerland.
Great job. All right. Boru, can you please read from go all the way till stars?
Go, he said,
at exactly 12 o'clock and pressed the final button. For a second, everything went absolutely black, as if he had gone blind. Thomas cried out in shock. But the lights were already on again. Whatever that was, it was not supposed to have happened. Everybody check the systems, he ordered. But nothing seemed to be wrong with them. The particle accelerator was working, just as he had hoped it would. Look outside, says Thomas' assistant in a frightened voice. Instead of the perfect summer day of 5 minutes ago, the sky was darker than a dark blackest night. Not only had the sun disappeared, there weren't even any stars.
Great job. All right. Tina, can you read from people all the way till frightened?
People were shouting and screaming, calling their families on the telephone, but Fredo had suddenly disappeared too. Thomas ignored the noise. He sat at the main computer and started reading the data from his experiment. Nothing to explain what was happening. He rushed for the exit, his team running behind him until they were all outside the laboratory building. Everyone else in the research center was outside, panicked and confused. They were using the screens and torches on their mobile phone to see where they were going, waving them around like giant fireflies. Several people got in their cars and turned on the headlights, driving them to the entrance to make a small area of brightness in the dark for everyone to crowd together. When the automatic street lights turned on, some people cheered, but most of them were still frightened.
Alrighty, so Ryan, can you please from then all the way till stars?
Then, almost 20 minutes after Thomas had started his experiment, without warning, the sun reappeared in the sky, warm and yellow, and a black sky turned blue again. Everyone started laughing and dancing around, and Thomas breathed a sigh of relief. But later, hours later, when the real night fell again, no one was celebrating, because although the moon rose as usual, there was not a star to be seen. No one wanted to know that Thomas had intended to happen, or what creatures had actually been about. What did it matter? All they cared about was happened. He had stolen all the stars, or that's what the newspaper said he had done. And when they put him on trial before the International Criminal Court, that's when they charged him with stealing the stars.
Awesome. Alrighty, so Boru, can you please read from he pleaded not guilty all the way to normal? So Boru, please read from he pleaded not guilty till normal right here. Is everything okay, Boru? Do you have any mic issues? You're on mute.
Wait.
Yep, no problem.
He pleaded not guilty. Well, if you didn't steal the stars, Dr. Strayer, said the lawyer for the prosecution, what did you do? As far as my experiment is concerned, said Thomas, it didn't seem to do anything. The machine was working, and that's all. Taking the stars from the sky seems like nothing to you. The lawyer looked around at the audience in the court. No one here would agree. No one in the world. That's not what it meant, said Thomas. What I know is that when the experiment started, there were suddenly no photons in the test room. What? No photons? We aren't all scientists here. Speak plain English, Dr. Strayer. Light, said Thomas. I mean, for just a moment, it was It was as if there was no light in our laboratory, and then we saw it was dark outside as well until the daylight returned to normal.
Awesome job. All right, so Tina, can you please read from normal, Dr. Strayer, all the way till guilty?
Normal, Dr. Slater, except for when the lawyer checked his notes. The sun went out for exactly 16 minutes and 40 seconds. Oh yes, the rest of the day was very normal. The night, on the other hand, hasn't been normal ever since. Thomas nodded sadly. I know, but you must believe me, nothing that they could possibly have removed the stars from existence. So neither you nor your experiment stole a star from us, said the lawyer. No, Thomas said. You just made it so that we can't see them anymore. After a long pause, Thomas sighed, yes. The lawyer raised an eyebrow. How is that any different? Thomas didn't have an answer. Not one anyone would understand anyways, let alone believe. He had a theory, but it would take years to prove it. Instead, he changed his plea to guilty.
Alrighty, so I'll read this part. The trial gave the world someone to blame for what it had lost, but sending Thomas to prison for years wouldn't change anything. Instead, at the end of their symbolic trial, they give him a symbolic punishment. Thomas was sentenced to work at the abandoned extremely large telescope in Paranal, Chile. Nobody looked at the night sky now. No tourists climbed high mountains to see the edges of our galaxy. And no scientists asked for money to study the empty sky. All that passed through the night sky was the lonely moon, a handful of planets, and the occasional comet. Looking up made people depressed. Thomas thought it was fair. It was right that he should be punished, and working as an astronomer had become almost the same as prison. After a few years, the world forgot about him, or at least decided to leave him alone. Every evening, he would watch the sun go down. It vanished below the horizon exactly 8 minutes and 20 seconds after it had actually descended below the curve of the Earth. The laws of physics remained the same, much to Thomas's daily relief. Light still traveled at the same speed as it always had. He hadn't changed reality that much, or at least he hadn't hoped he hadn't. If light travels at a certain speed, he thought, perhaps absence of light travels at the same speed. Of course, there was no way to prove his theory. Not yet. And alone in the observatory, Thomas had nobody to share it with anyway. All right, so Ryan, can you please read from High to I Wish Tonight?
High in the mountains of Chile, Thomas continued to watch the night. His enormous telescope pointing towards a particular point of the sky, even though it was always just as empty as every other part. And each day, as the sun went down, he thought of the sun, his parents saying to him as a child, "Starlight, star bright, first I see tonight. I wish I may, I wish I might have the wish I wish tonight."
Awesome. Boru, can you please read from 4 all the way to forever?
For 1,596 black nights, nearly 4.5 years, there was no change to the night sky. But that was okay. It didn't disprove Thomas' theory, it supported it. Thomas thought about the absence of light he had created, and he imagined it like a wave, passing the sun and continuing out towards the edge of our galaxy and beyond. It would take 1,096 nights to pass a near star, and another 1,596 nights for that star's light to reach the Earth again. If the wave of darkness existed at all, of course, if his calculations were correct, if he was wrong, the stars really were gone forever. And then one night, another 1,596 nights later, almost 9 years after the disaster, Thomas looked up from his telescope and saw Alpha Centauri twinkling back at him, the first star, He he wiped the tears from his eyes and made a wish. Billions of other people's wishes followed right after it.
Alrighty. So we just finished the story. What did you guys think? Ryan, what did you think of the story? What did you think of the story, Ryan? Tina, what did you think of the story?
I think it's an interesting idea.
Okay. So in your own words, could you summarize this story? It can be very, very simple. I just want to see how would you summarize this story?
There's a man who did an experiment which created a wave of in the absence of light. Everybody panicked at first before the sun came back. However, after that, nobody could see the stars in the night sky ever again. And the scientist Thomas was sent to to
It was an abandoned telescope.
abandon the telescope. However, Thomas had a theory, which was that the absence of light we created what is has same speed of light, which means when the absent light pass other stars, the stars will come back again. And this theory was proved after 1,500 no two after to 1,596 times.
Amazing. Yeah.
Years.
Yeah. Awesome. So yeah, no, you're completely correct on that. Great job in the summary. I'm very impressed. So let me stop sharing. Let's go back to the slides. So after hearing Tina's summary, what we're going to do now is answer the question. Did you like the story? And do you think Thomas's punishment was fair? So he got punished to the abandoned telescope for I think 20 years, was it? Let me just double check. It's quite for a long time. But that was his verdict. I think, oh yeah, I think he was there actually for the rest of his life. He was there for the rest of his life. So that was his punishment, to work at that abandoned telescope, to constantly look at the stars that didn't exist anymore. So that was his punishment. So instead of going to normal jail, he went to the abandoned telescope. So those are the two questions I want you guys to answer. I want you to write a paragraph on why you like the story or why you didn't like the story. And I want you to write maybe 2 to 3 paragraphs about the punishment. Does anyone have any questions about the task here? No? All right, if there is no questions, I'm gonna give you guys 20 minutes. Well, I'll give you 15 minutes and I'll check in the 15-minute mark to see if you guys need more time. And if you do, I'll give you that extra 5 minutes, but I want to see where you're at 15 minutes. All right, starting now.
Teacher.
Yep,
Teacher,
yep.
move you back to the reading page, please.
Yeah, of course.
Thank you.
Yeah. I'll start at here at the beginning. If you would like me to scroll further down, let me know.
Let's scroll farther down now.
Sure. Up to where the verdict was?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, so around here.
Okay.
Alrighty, so we are reaching the 15-minute mark. How many would like more time? The extra 5 minutes. Just like either raise your hand or message me in the chat yes if you would like the extra 5 minutes. Okay. So I do have a couple of responses about receiving the extra 5 minutes. So, okay, so I'll give you 5 more minutes starting now. Alrighty, time is up. Please send what you have. It's okay if you're not finished. I would just like to see what you have, only because, and also we're running a bit short on time, so I definitely want to collect what you have. All right, so I'm gonna copy and paste the responses into the document. However, in the meantime, please read out loud your paragraphs just to see if you can notice any mistakes. Alrighty, so I received 2 responses from both Tina and Ryan. Boru, did you get a chance to finish or get a chance to start the activity? Sorry, guys, just give me one moment. Sorry, guys. Um, there we go. All right, let's start with Tina. No, I don't think Thomas deserves the isolation forever. Okay, so just one thing. Remember, if we're using names, we need to make sure that the names are capitalized. And also when you do a response for a question, it's always good to reword the question into your paragraph. So you can say that you can say like, in my opinion, right? Or based on the reasoning, etc. So it's always good to kind of like start a little bit more instead of going directly into your answer. Having a little fluff in the beginning is always nice, especially easing into the reader of like what you're talking about. So no, I don't think Thomas deserved the isolation forever. The change he made was huge. Not seeing stars could impact people like astronomers greatly. Never start a sentence with and. Poor grammar. So you can say although, comma, the sun took only 16 minutes. No need for that. And the nearest star, 9 years. Some stars would millions or even billions of years for the light to reach us again. So I believe you were trying to use the word would take millions or even billions of years for the light to reach us again. For example, the farthest star from us is Arundel, which is 28 billion light years away. don't forget light years away. This is a change that couldn't be reversible in Thomas's life. So lifetime is repetition. You don't want to repeat this. Having lifetime by itself is more than enough. So this is a change that couldn't be reversible in Thomas's lifetime. Not even the Earth would live to see all the stars again. Okay, let's take out this. And remember, if you start a new sentence, don't forget to capitalize. However, what Thomas did was an accident, and sending him to an abandoned telescope to study the empty sky is just cruel and useless. Nothing would get out of having him look at nothing. Okay, so for here, in this last part, what Thomas did was an accident, and sending him to an abandoned telescope to study the empty sky is just cruel and useless. Nothing would get out. So it's always good to specify nothing. So what I mean by this, you could say that there would be no change in have blah blah blah, like having him look at the stars, or there is no benefit, blah blah blah, or you can say there's nothing to be learned in looking at an empty sky for years and years. So again, when you originally read this sentence, it is always good to read it out loud, because these type of mistakes, it's not something that you can just read off. When you read it out loud, it makes a huge difference in the flow. So if you read the sentence and you're like, so that doesn't flow nicely. Let's see if we can play around with other ways of how we can structure this sentence. So reading out loud really does help with that aspect of editing. Other than that, that is all the edits I have for you for now. Any questions, Tina?
No.
All right. Ryan, let's look into yours. I didn't think his punishment was fair because it might have been a cloudy day or a foggy day, so you can't even see the stars. Okay. So there is a reason of why the stars went away and how people blamed him, but this is fine as well. This is fine grammatically. Plus, he should most only got a few months of community service, not a few years. So when writing a paragraph, Ryan, we need to write in a way that it's not like you're talking to someone in person. We need to still keep it formal and more literary. So for example, instead of saying plus, you should have at most only got a few months. You could say the the verdict was excessive, right? You could say that. Or in more simple said, the people were mean or were cruel. We could say were cruel to give a few years when it should have been only a few months. And then here you can add like you want to add more. So say why you think that. You know? So this doesn't have to necessarily be just from literature. Add your own personal thought process into it. Add your own type of thinking into it, saying that, you know, going to jail for many years for something scientific is wrong. Maybe you know, that's the part of the process of researching science. You know, it's the risk. So you can write that kind of stuff down. So adding a little bit more, Ryan, especially with the time that I gave you with 15 to 20 minutes, try to think about that when taking the next task that we'll do together, is being more detailed with the things that you can add in your paragraphs. That being said, that is it for the edits. Boru, I really hope that you have the time to at least do these tasks in your own time. If you feel a bit shy, let me know, or talk to me after class if you'd like. Just send me a message and we can discuss other ways for you to get some feedback, because I really do want to give you feedback on your own work when you get the chance. All right, so we only have 10 minutes left at most. So what I want to do is quickly go over some new vocab that I've prepared for us today. Ryan, can you please read what a regimen is?
Regimen. A plan or set of rules about food, exercise, etc. Designed to make someone become or stay healthy. Shreya's personal trainer at the gym started her workout regimen of 30 minutes on the treadmill, followed by 30 minutes of weight training.
Awesome. Regimen, this last part of this definition is not a requirement. It's not just for someone to become healthy. For example, a work regimen, you know, following rules at work to make sure that you are staying on top. For example, no phone for 30 minutes every day at work. That is a regimen. Or making sure to take 10-minute power naps every 1 hour so I feel more productive. That is a regimen as well. So regimen doesn't necessarily have to mean healthy. It can mean a lot of things. But most oftentimes when people use the word regimen, they use it in this example that we see here, talking about going to the gym, eating healthy, you know, losing weight, stuff like that. So Tina, can you read what churlish means?
Churlish, irritable and rude. Example, it will be churlish not to congratulate the winning team because we lost the match.
Awesome job. So I would like you guys to quickly write a sentence using each word, right? One sentence using regimen, one sentence using churlish, and then we'll go over it together with some small edits. So please, 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 everyone, please try to do this activity in the next 5 minutes. Does anyone have any questions? Nope. All right, sounds good. So 5 minutes starting now. Alrighty, one more minute. Finish up your sentences. It's okay if you're not finished, and then send it to me in the chat. I'm going to stop sharing now. Already I've got yep. I'm going to share the screen now to the Microsoft document. All right, Tina. So after my sister realized how she was getting more and more unhealthy eating junk food, she set out a regimen to get healthy again. Amazing. No comments after about this sentence. No critiques here. Awesome job on that sentence. It was churlish how my brother shut down my computer and turned off the Wi-Fi just because he lost. Instead of saying out of game, you would just say lost the game to me. That's all I have for edits. Do you have any questions, Tina? No? All right. So sounds good. Ryan, remember just to start, whenever you start a sentence, to capitalize. A regimen of 1 or 2 injections per day. And don't forget the period. I know it's a short amount of time, but great job for you used the word correctly. So great job on that. And yeah, that is everything. Okay, so let's go back. So that is the vocabulary that I have for you guys. Now what we're gonna do next week is explore formatting a little bit. We're gonna do something different compared to the 2 weeks that we were together. And we're gonna learn how to use AP and MLA format. So in the slides, right? You guys have access to the slides, I hope. So you'll be able to access this website right here, this file specifically. What I want you guys to do for homework this week is read it over. You don't have to go through thoroughly. You don't have to memorize anything. I just want you to read it over a couple of times, right? Just so you understand what we're going to be doing for next week. We're going to learn how to format an essay. We're going to learn how to do citations, and we're going to learn how to write it down for some of them, not all of them. It seems very intimidating at first, but trust me, it's not that hard. It's literally just filling in the the blanks once we get over. Now, just quickly to tell you before we end the session, what is a citation? How many people know what a citation is? Raise your hand. Okay, so raise your hand if you don't know what a citation is. All right, so a little a little quiet. So I'm just gonna assume that we don't know what citations are. Citations is basically when you say, I got my information from this source. So that source can be a book, a website, or wherever. So for example, if we're writing a story, or if we're writing a research project about cheese, and we say there's over 1,000 cheeses in the world, what you need to do is cite your source. So citing your source is basically saying, I got my information about 1,000 cheeses from the website of cheese.com. So you're gonna write a reference, something like this, right? Where you write the author, title of the book, and the publisher, and then you would also add these parentheses here. So that's the idea of what a citation is. Now, of course, it's quite intimidating and it's going to take a lot of getting used to. However, the reason why I want to start it now is because I want to slowly have you guys get used to citing. It will never, ever, ever, ever leave your writing career. As long as you're writing, you're going to be citing. As long as you're going to be researching, you're going to be citing. So this is a formatting technique and tool that you cannot afford to just ignore. Okay. That is everything. Does anyone have any questions about today's session? No? Already sounds good. So then I will see you guys next week. If there's no questions, have a great rest of your day. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Hi, Boru. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Awesome. So this session